Hey, what's going on, good people? It's Shamar, and we are back. And today we're going to talk about some tips for picking the perfect event photographer. Here at Alan Lux Studios, we specialize in event photography and media production as a whole. Typically, our clients book us to do photos and videos, right? So they want that video recap of their event, and then they want the photos. And one thing that is very important that some people miss out on is getting a photo book. Because, yes, it's great to see your digital photos and reminisce about it. But when you have it in a book to go back and look at it, that's where it's at. All right. So first and foremost, I think that when you're planning your event, the first thing you should do is book the venue. So yes, and book the venue before you book the photographer, because that venue and that space may limit the photographers that you have to choose from. So for instance, if it's an outdoor venue and you can't pick a photographer that may not be familiar with shooting outdoors. You would prefer to pick one that is skilled in outdoor, right? There are some like us that we do both indoor and outdoor, but that is one thing to consider. Also, because of venue availability, let's say that you have a date in mind, but you're not able to book that date because the venue, is not available. So make sure you lock in the date with the venue first, and then when you speak with your photographer, you can tell them that date. If they're available, then you can secure that booking with them. You don't want to get the photographer first and then say, hey, here's the date, but then the venue says we don't have that available, and they push you back 2 weeks or bump you up 2 weeks. And guess what? The photographer may not have availability for those alternative dates. So lock in your venue first, and then lock in your photographer. Now, with getting that photographer, make sure you start your search early. Listen, us here at Alan Lux Studios, we stay busy. And like I can tell you now, it is the second week of January, and by December or even November of last year, we've already had multiple bookings for 2024. I have 3 events this month. I've already have 2 events in February. I have events that's already scheduled for June, August, October, and we're going on an international trip in November. That November trip is for about a week and a half. So yeah, we're booked out early. Or we're booked out in advance, I guess I should say. And with that said, you need to make sure that you are contacting these photographers early. You're having an event, you need a photographer, contact that photographer as soon as possible, and then let's say that it's something that's a week away or so. That photographer may have availability, but you may be paying a premium price because it's so close to that date. Just like with airlines, the earlier you book that flight, the more reasonable that price will be. But if you book that flight a day before you got to go, most likely you're going to be paying a premium. Yeah. So check out the work, talk to the photographer, have a great conversation. We're definitely going to get more into talking to your photographer. But I want to also put out here, phone a friend, right? So if you have looked on different websites, you searched Instagram, you searched Facebook for photographers, and you don't know who to go with, contact a friend. Sometimes word of mouth is the best way to go. They have that experience. One, they can tell you, oh, great photographer, great personality, the communication is great, and then you can also see their actual pictures. So it's like, you're seeing a portfolio. What did the photographer do for you? Especially if it's an event similar to the one that you have. So if you're doing a birthday party and there are certain things that you want to make sure is captured, look at your friends' photos. Did they get it right? Did they capture those things? That's a great way of, I guess, vetting photographers as well. Now, you've narrowed the list, right? You've picked between photographers and got a short list. One thing I'd recommend that you do is a meet and greet. This is very, very important. And again, if you're booking early, then you have the time to meet with the various photographers. And if the photographer doesn't want to meet and have a consultation with you, that's not the photographer that you want to go with. Make sure you sit down with the photographer, whether you go to their studio space, if y'all meet at a coffee shop or something, y'all want to meet in person so that you all can see each other's personality, so that you all can discuss your event and the things that you're looking for and stuff like that and get a feel of it. Because think about it. Oftentimes I hear clients tell me that they don't feel comfortable, they're self-conscious, they don't take pictures, and if you're somebody that's like that as well, you get a little nervous, but you want the pictures. Don't you think that you need to have a photographer that helps make you feel comfortable? That photographer is going to be with you all day. So let's say that it's a graduation event that you're doing, right? And you want to get some portraits of yourself in your cap and gown before the whole crowd gets there or anything like that. So that photographer is going to be with you during that one-on-one time. That photographer is going to be there when your guests arrive. And then even at the end, like doing close-ups or intimate shots with you and your loved ones, right? So of course, everybody at your party wants to do their own picture with you. So that photographer is going to be with you for the bulk of that day. You want to make sure that it's somebody that you get along with and feel comfortable with, right? Then you also want to ask, what do they specialize in, right? You don't want a wedding photographer or to pick somebody to do your weddings if you look at their portfolio and they don't do weddings. If you don't see any weddings on their portfolio, that's not the photographer you want to go with, because that's not what they specialize in, So just figure out what it is they do, if it aligns with what your goals are with your photos, and, it'll work well. You want to look at examples of the work. Again, if friends have worked with this photographer before, you can see what it is that they did for them. Go to their website. A lot of photographers have galleries where they showcase their work. If there's something that you don't see specifically, but they say that they do, ask them for examples of that particular work. Because listen, this is your investment. This is what it is that you want for years to come to be able to look back on this special moment. So make sure you are getting what it is that you're looking for. You want to ask them about pricing as well. Every photographer price is different. Their structure might be different. Some people charge by the hour. Some people charge by the photos that they edit. Some people give you a all-in package. If it's an all-in package, make sure you're asking them what is in that package. What does that package include? If there's something that you want that you don't hear, ask hey, can we include this in here? Because you want to set the expectations up front. You want to know how much is going to be up front, and ask as many questions as possible and provide them as much detail as possible as well. If you say, hey, I just want you to come in for an hour and shoot a couple of people, engaging with each other, having drinks or something like that. And then they say, okay, I'm going to come in for an hour and that's going to cost, $200. Okay, fine. But when you get the photos back, the decorations was important to you because you spent all this time blowing up these balloons. You did all this effort into making the centerpieces for the table, and you don't have any of that in the pictures. Well, you didn't mention it to the photographer, right? And more importantly, let's say it's a photographer that they specialize in portraits, and now you got them doing an event. They probably wouldn't even know to get the centerpieces. They wouldn't know to get the balloon arches. They wouldn't know those things. So the more conversation you have up front, the more that you discuss, the more details that you tell them about your event and what it is that you want, and the more questions that you ask from them, that definitely helps set the expectation for both parties. Finally, you want to clarify the turnaround time, right? So how long is it going to take them to edit those pictures and get them back to you? Let's say that you're hosting an event. You got a grant for this event, and it's some outreach that you're doing for the community, and you need to get these photos back in a certain deadline to make sure that you can post them for the advertising or submit them for the advertising or submit it for proof of where those grant dollars went. You need to know how long it's going to take them. If they can't meet that deadline, that might not be the photographer that you want to go with. Or if it's a laid back casual event, it's just your 34th birthday, not a milestone, but a 34th birthday, and your friends are coming over, and you don't have to have them back in a certain time, but when you do get them back, they're more just memories. Okay, you may be more flexible in how long it takes to get them back, but you still want to have an expectation, because what if you think, oh, they should be able to get it back to me in a week, and then on their end, they get it back to you in 4 weeks because they think that that's okay, or that's their standard. If they never told you, hey, this is what my turnaround time is, you might have a bad experience thinking you should get it back in a week, and they're like, hey, my policy is to get it back in, a month or 4 weeks. Now, that's crazy to me, by the way, because we don't do that. Our turnaround time here is very quick. That is what we are competitively I'm about to say that wrong. Our competitive advantage, there we go. Our competitive advantage here at Alan Lux Studios is a quick turnaround time. We will give you high quality images and videos just like that. All right. I hope this was helpful, and I just want you all to leave here with knowing, start the process as early as you know that you're doing an event. Get that photographer early. All right. Again, hope it was helpful, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.